Hey guys, welcome back to week 4 of the bootcamp, and this week we're going to be really focusing on setting stops. Now, setting stops is something that you need to do. You need to have an exit strategy because we can't be risking our entire account on any one trade. However, there's different sort of ways of thinking about how to set stops, and none of them are necessarily right or wrong. It's kind of up to you to decide what works for you and what works with the particular product that you're trading. So the three ways I would set stops are I would use either a fixed set stop and I'd use it all the time. I would use a time stop. So say after 30 minutes, if I've been in a trade and it hasn't done what I thought it would do, then I would just exit. Or I would use a stop whereby when price reaches that point, my hypothesis as to why I entered the trade in the first place is now void. So if I was to say get long here at 08 and I would know that if price got down here to 06, I'm wrong and I need to get out. And that would be different from, between each trading setup that we took. So they're kind of your three options. For this part of the process, I'd sort of suggest you start with just taking a set stop. So a fixed number of ticks from where you enter, that's your exit plan. And in something like the ZN, you might only need to be using maybe 3, even 2 ticks, and you should be able to get pretty good entries using what we've already learned. In other products like the ES, you might need to take an 8 to 10 tick stop. If it's the DAX, who knows, even 20 for the DAX. It's a pretty thin, whippy kind of a market. So that's going to depend on the product that you're trading. But the thing to realize is that when you're using a thin, whippy market, you need to just get out immediately. And you probably just need to get a market order and get out straight away. When you're trading a thinner kind of market, in the same fashion that we work our limit orders to enter, we're going to be working our limit orders to exit as well. So say we get long here at 08 and our stop is down here at 06 half, we're going to be placing a limit order when price heads down in this region, and we're going to be trying to work an exit. So if we're long at 08 and the offer comes down to here, that's usually when I'm going to start looking at exiting. So if the bid is 06 half and the offer is 07, I'll probably still accept that and keep trading. But if that goes offer, then I'll probably start looking to work an exit. So you enter a limit order and you're trying to get filled. The good thing about these big, thick price levels is that more often than not, you're going to get filled and it's probably not going to get away from you too much. If it does, it's probably only going to get away from you by a tick. And, that's not too bad and it's probably not going to break the bank. So in these big, thicker markets, that's the way I like to do it. In a thinner market, you've just got to hit a market order and get out. Now, this is only pretty basic, and I just want you to incorporate this into your trading, get a feel for the length of stop that suits your personality. So you might be someone who likes to give your trades a bit of room to breathe, so that's kind of okay. You can definitely do that. If your trades need, 5 ticks, that's fine. You're going to have more winners because you're not going to get stopped out as much, but you're also going to take, some, pretty big hits along the way. If you're risking 2 ticks, you're not going to be right as much, but, you're not going to be risking much at all. So it's really about finding that sweet spot that suits you and suits what you're trying to do. I truly believe with this style of trading, you can be right, 2/3 of the time pretty comfortably. So with that in mind, I like to set a stop level that's going to, allow me to do that. And as the weeks go on, we're going to sort of delve more into setting stops and how we can use the other sort of 2 styles and sort of combine that as to when we have a hypothesis and that hypothesis is then, void, what is our stop level for that, situation. So to start off with, I really want you to just practice setting stops and getting out using limit orders, because it's a bit of a skill and you need to sort of get comfortable with doing that, because if you're just hitting market orders, you're really just throwing ticks away, especially in a big market like the ZN that usually just drifts one way or another, and it doesn't always do it too sharply. Sometimes it does, obviously, because if everyone's looking at the same trade and if everyone's buying here and everyone's thinking about exiting down here. As soon as everyone starts, putting their sell orders in, that can push the market away. And also, if you're putting your entry orders right around these highs and lows, you can sometimes see price really smash through those levels, and that's also something we're going to be talking about quite a bit more in detail, but that's something to be aware of at this point in time. So at the moment, just get practicing, get a feel for what you're doing. Like I say, it doesn't necessarily matter what type of stop you're using at the moment, but just make sure you're using one, because that's really important. And good luck with that. Continue building on what we already know. We've got a fair few good tools up our sleeve right now, so we know how to look for these big buyers and sellers. We know how to see the volume profile areas and what's important, and we now know how to use correlated markets to our advantage. So this is kind of the last step in the initial process that's going to give us kind of a pretty solid foundation for where we're going in the future. So if you've got your head around the last 3 weeks and now this week, you're doing really, really well, and you're very much on track to finding some consistently good trades. And you should really be congratulating yourself for getting this far. So well done, and stick with it for this week. And by the end of the week, you're going to have made some really great progress. So congratulations.